Good morning, good afternoon,
Right.
YouTube.
Yo.
This is the Cuts and Styles show. My name is Cuts by Dre. We got my man T Styles in the building over there on the green screen.
What's
And
good, everybody? We are back in the building. It's your boy T Styles. You know what I'm saying? Congratulations to that little win y'all got today. Barely got that
why it's got to
win.
be a little win?
You
We
know what
don't do
I'm
little
saying?
things. We only do big things.
All
That
right,
was a
that's what's
big
up.
win.
Well,
It
we
might
ain't
have
doing
been.
big stuff now because of my squad, Rams, we lost today
Yeah,
to them
okay.
Saints. So, you know.
Yeah, it might have been a little win as far as the score wise, but victory, we 9-1. But let's get with the show. Okay, so what we talking about today, Styles?
Today we're going to talk about the barber and hire process, if you have one, or do you need one, or should barbers have one? That's what we're talking about today.
All right, so the process of hiring a barber.
Yes.
And okay, so break that down for me.
So my question to you is, new barber. If you having a new barber, should you or do you, when they come in for an interview, do they have an application process as far as paper where you know how go to the job, you fill out your name and stuff? Do you have that, or you think they should have that?
Well, yeah, I do think they should have that. I used to have that in my earlier years when I had a lot more employees. At one time, I had about 17 people working for me. I was very thorough and professional when it came to paperwork. Had my stuff on the iPad, did it like you're supposed to do. But I guess as you get further on into your career, you might get a little lax, a little lazy. I'm not encouraging that, but just talking about me, myself personally,
Right.
the paperwork process kind of fell off with the barbers, and that's definitely not a good thing. So yes, I do believe, just like any business, you need to have an application and paperwork to follow.
What about, you think that application, that interview process, I should say, should cover a demo cut? Because I know one time when I was applying for a barber shop, I had to bring in a client to do a fade on there just to see how good I could. Now, I could be talking about just for a beginner barber just coming out of school versus somebody who already been in the game. So if it's somebody just coming out of school that they they coming out of school, you want to see basically how good their cuts is. Do you think that should be something that the barbershop should do or not? Or should that pertain to everybody? If you come into my shop, you got a reputation as being a good shop, good barbers. Do you want to see how good they cut?
Well, yeah, I think that's a good thing. I do think, shop owners should interview their barbers, and I do think they should give them a demo cut. If you're serious about getting highly qualified people in there, I think you should. Me personally, in the past, I don't think I've ever given a barber a demo cut because I was always the type of person to give somebody a shot. I've been in a situation where I've seen barbers go from, I say, 0 to 60. I see barbers go from can't cutting hair to excellent barbers, So you really don't want to rule out a barber based on, a demo cut, because if they don't do good and you say, okay, you're not good enough to work here and you don't hire them, that's a potential all-star that you could have had,
Right.
And it's a lot more than cutting hair when it comes to hiring anybody in this world. You're looking at the moral character, you're looking at what they bring to your shop, your business. A lot more than just cutting hair goes.
Now, how do
that.
you find that out? All that stuff. If they're a good person, of good character, how they more of? Are you gonna sit down? If you sit down with them and you have a conversation, is there a certain question that you would ask that particular candidate to see the answer that you can judge? Like, okay, he answered like this, so okay, he might be thinking this way. So how you find those out? Or how can a barbershop owner find those things out?
I mean, yeah, if you was to come in for an interview, then yes, I think you should have a certain amount of questions already laid out for your barber, and based on your experience or hiring people, you'll have, depending on how long you've been in business and how many people you've hired, you'll have somewhat of experience to know that when a potential employee responds to a question a certain way, you'll get a kind of an idea of what type of character they are. So I mean, that comes with experience on the employer side.
Now, is there any particular question that you would ask, like every employee? Just do you have a question that you ask?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, really, I like to go based on body language.
Okay.
Body language,
Okay.
presentation, how you come to the interview, how you speak at the interview. Are you coming to the interview looking like the job don't mean that much to you? It's not that important. You come here with sneakers and and some sweatpants or whatever, giving me the impression that you're not taking this that serious off the top. So I look at that, how the person responds, how sharp they seem to be, how knowledgeable they are about their craft, and definitely how motivated they may be.
brought up, you brought up another good point. Dress for success. Now, if we got any people out there that's listen to this and they're still in barber school, would you suggest to them? Because I know they suggested to us that they start building them a profile as far as the cuts they doing, taking pictures. That way they can bring that in the portfolio of the cuts they done, how they look as when they come to the to an interview.
Definitely. I mean, that to me, that's a good thing to
Yeah,
bring up. That to me is more important than actual cutting, because a demo cut. How are you really going to do a demo cut in an interview? You're going to have somebody standing by waiting to get their hair cut by somebody that they don't know could even cut hair. So a demo cut is kind of rough, but a portfolio is definitely good. Just like
yeah,
you was an actor or you was a model, you got your portfolio laid out. So you might have 10, 15 pictures already in there, your best work. So that's definitely good.
yeah. I can speak on the demo because I had to do a demo
Excuse me.
cut, and it took me a minute to find somebody to cut. So
So you had an interview in which you had to do a demo cut.
I had to do a demo cut. I had to do a fade, and I brought in. I had one of my little cousins' sons, and I cut
Okay.
their hair.
So
Yeah.
you actually the shop that you went to required you to bring someone
Yes,
to do
sir.
the demo cut.
Yes,
And
sir.
what type of shop was this, might I ask? Was it a corporate shop or was it a
It was a
or
user
was a
franchise shop. Yes.
franchise shop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Now, do you know by any chance if that's standard in franchise
Yes, it
shops?
is.
So that's
For
a
most,
standard
yes, this,
thing.
most it is. Yep. You get the standard interviews about what kind of skills that you have, what you weak in, what you want to work in, but you also you can do it two ways. You can bring somebody in and do the cut you're best at, or they'll tell you what cut they want you to do, and you bring somebody in to do that cut. Now, depending on the type of cut you're doing, it also can be done on the mannequin. But since I was doing it on doing a fade, it's kind of hard to do a fade on a mannequin.
Yeah, okay. So you said you brung in somebody to do the
Yes,
demo
an
cut.
actual person.
So I'm gonna cut to the chase. When you say franchise shops, I don't want to use black or white because that's kind of cliche. But for this instance, I'm gonna say you're probably talking about a mainly white salon
Yes.
with mainly white clients
Yes.
and workers, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay, so that's interesting to know. So when you were in the interview with them, do they or do you ask? Well, I'm trying to get at saying, say you were only good at cutting African American hair and you wasn't that good at cutting straight hair or Caucasian hair. Do you come to the interview and you tell them, look, I can bring a nice African American clientele to your business. I'm not good at cutting straight hair or Caucasian hair, so it's no need in me really doing a demo cut with that because I'm not good at it, but I can do African American hair good. Would that fly with that
Yes,
type
that's
of?
exactly what I did, and it actually do. I'm not gonna say it's fly at every shop. It depends on. It also depends on how you carry yourself and how they looking for you and what you need, and also if that shop willing to train. The shop I was at is was willing to train me because they knew I was just coming out of school, so it wasn't like I was just conditioned just to do that type of hair. It was most what I felt comfortable at the time, but they was willing to train me because of you have a probation period.
So they were willing to train you and make you do a demo cut?
Yeah.
That seemed don't make sense. I mean,
They want to know your style because
they
we don't
just
want to
want
go too much off the subject. In a shop like that, you have time limits on how long you can cut a hair. So it's not even about. I mean, it's about your how you cut, but also it's about how long you take
how
to cut the
long you
hair.
take to cut.
Also, yes,
Okay.
because that depending on how long you take to cut a hair can affect your money, your
O-
commission. So you want to be
Okay.
careful. The shop that I had a strict timeline of how long you have to take to do a fade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a commission based shop.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Off out there for all y'all barbers out there that's getting in the game for the first time. That's some real good information. So
Yes.
I guess that could really determine which direction you go, what kind of shop you want to go to. Do you want to go to a booth rental shop, or do you want to go to a commissions based shop or a franchise based shop? And by franchise shops, we're probably talking about like sports clips. You may have heard of them because that's a national chain.
Yep, supercuts. All
Yeah.
these have time limits on the amount the time it take to do a fade.
Okay.
So,
Okay. That's good information. I'm learning something here myself.
so,
Okay. So what else we get into?
so yeah. So to get back on topic with it, do now you were talking about the paperwork. We did say paperwork as far as the application. You kind of fell off on that. And today's market, I don't see a lot of barbershop, especially booth rent, doing the application process. But it came to my mind as I was thinking about it. How do what happens if something happened to a barber in your shop? As far as they have an accident or something that require emergency service and they have to go to the hospital or something. Do you have information as far as for each of your barbers as far as their emergency contact where you can call their next of kin or somebody let them know what happened? Do you think we should have something like that? Do you think that's the duty of the shop owner, or is that the duty of the barber? Because we always talk about how you entrepreneurs, but if something happened and I drop dead right now, you call the let me rephrase that. Belay my last. If I fall out where I have to go to the hospital, who are you going to call
I'm gonna
besides
call.
the hospital?
Okay, I'm not gonna call the hospital. I'm gonna call 911.
Exactly.
I mean, I laughed a little bit when you were saying that because you said next to kin in there. I look at the barbering business as more of a kind of a laid back on the safe side of work. We not working high rise construction. We not on bulldozers or working with heavy machinery. So I'm not really sure if we really need next to kin information.
Right.
Now,
That was
nothing wrong with that.
right.
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with
Yeah.
that. But to have that down in my application, even when I had application, I was strict on that. I definitely didn't have a next to kin.
Right. I was still new to this. I was speaking too fast. Y'all know I meant to say emergency contact. Emergency contacts. Hey, make sure we edit that out. Let's just let's be for real. Edit that out because y'all ain't gonna be playing me in the comment section.
That's good
This
stuff
man
right
said
there.
next to kid.
That's good stuff right there, man. That's funny though. That's funny. You can't edit out the good stuff, man. All right, yeah, that's good. Well, emergency contact, yeah, you should have that. You definitely, I mean, no matter where you work, you should have emergency contact. They make you have emergency contract when you trying to get a cell phone. So yeah, I think emergency contact is definitely important because, like you said, any kind of emergency could happen, or no matter where you are. So that's important.
Okay. So overall, do you think it's a different in how you would? I know it's different in everybody, but is it a major difference in how you would hire somebody out of school versus if you hire somebody that's been in the business for a while when it comes to application and when it comes to the hiring process? Which one do you look at different as far as what do you look for in the the beginner barber and what do you look for in a established barber? Do you want to know like if you've been in here for 10 years, why is you coming to this shop? What happened to your last shop?
Well, in my case, I've never hired a barber based on skill. I've always looked at their attitude, what they bring to the table, their reputation. How they. I always look at the person, their moral character, because I think that's so important. And most barbershops out here, salons, even in any kind of business, no matter what it is, one bad apple can spoil the bunch. We heard that before.
Yeah.
You get a bad person in your shop, no matter how good they can cut, it's just not good for business. So I've never been concerned with how good a person can cut because I know based on my experience and experience on being a business owner for years that if you truly want to do this, you're going to get better and better and better. And it doesn't matter, how you start off. It's really truly where you finish.
Okay. So yeah, if y'all like this, like what we're talking about, make sure y'all give us a like, subscribe, tell a person, tell a friend, comment below, and let us know what y'all think of the topic.